The transaction is a shared value transaction. We didn't view it as an empowerment transaction. And that also brought out some uniqueness around the whole project. Bravura helped us really with two key elements. The one is to find a co-investor with a very specific profile who had similar values to Schoonbee Landgoed and were willing to invest patient capital so that we could look at a long-term sustainability while still making commercial sense. So finding a partner with that profile was quite a process, and Bravura helped us with that. Secondly, Bravura helped us then jointly with a partner to raise the finance. The project within the agricultural terms, and specifically primary agri, is quite significant. It's very capital intensive, and therefore it required really unique finance and finance terms, and Bravura helped us to source that. There's so many examples out there of empowerment transactions that has failed, specifically in the primary agriculture space. So it was important for Thebe and Schoonbee and Bravura to shape something that we believe is sustainable. It required a lot of trust between us and Thebe, having built a partnership on common values. That helped a lot. But Bravura had to play a very careful, almost a mediating role, so that we can come up with a solution that we all feel safe to take on the future. There were a couple of examples. One of the financiers gave us finance on terms that we thought is acceptable, and once it was approved by their board, the terms made it unacceptable for Schoonbee specifically, because we felt it would expose our core operations from a labour relations risk. So we had to turn it down. That created a lot of tension. There were also some of the farms that we targeted initially to be part of change, and then we discovered that the land claims associated with those farms was quite significant, and then the way that the financiers is looking at land claims really exposed the shareholders quite significantly. So we had to change the whole scope of the project as well. So there were many of these examples that created the reality of an extended process of shaping the project. And what I appreciated with Bravura, and again with the direct involvement of Saria, was never to give up, even though some of the challenges were created by Schoonbee itself. She was just never tired of making this deal work for us. What I appreciated from Bravura also in this process is that they committed personally into what we were trying to do. For me, it was more than just committing to a contract that they signed of what they must deliver. From a personal perspective, the members of Bravura committed a lot. To give an example, Saria at one stage was in hospital, and she was in a telco for hours and hours with us while she was in the hospital, so that we could sort out some of the terms of one of the contracts. And I don't think you do something like that just so that you can execute on a project or on a contract. You do something like that if you truly believe in what we are doing. And again, I think the whole Bravura team's willingness to have the resilience to create a project that I believe is very unique in the primary agri space was something that I'm not sure everybody will buy into, or that everybody will will give the same amount of effort and energy to get to a successful outcome. There's a very specific reason for us why we use a team like Bravura. The one is from a capacity perspective. They bring in additional capacity. And then secondly, a competence. They bring unique competence around the different aspects, whether it's financial or the commercial aspects, the legal aspects of a deal. The third element is they know our business now, so they know our value set, etc. And lastly, for me, it is the passion that they apply when they engage on a project. They engage. I mean, they project manage. They push us to get to the outcomes that we've jointly committed. And the combination of those elements for me is really making them an ideal partner if you approach something like this.